Deputy Premier Dancia Penn has come out in opposition to the UK's upcoming proposal for the Virgin Islands to submit their budget estimates to the UK for review some 2 months in advance of it being passed in the Virgin Islands House of Assembly. Dancia Penn made the disclosure during her 8th district elections campaign launch in Parham Town. She said that the BVI has managed its affairs well in the past and has been balancing its own budget since the then Chief Minister Willard Wheatley got the VI out of grant and aid in 1977. The Deputy Premier said that she is not afraid to voice her disagreement with the UK's proposal.
People should know these things because they're going to affect them and they're going to affect their children and their grandchildren. One of the proposals that is being made is that we are going to have to send our budget, our draft budget, to London every year, 2 months, before we can pass it in our House of Assembly here. And I am on record, and I don't mind saying it here, I am on record as opposing us having to send our budget to London 2 months before we need to pass it.
I agree with that.
We have managed our affairs well. We haven't done everything 100%. We could have done a lot of things better, and I myself criticized some of the things. But we, from 1977, have been budget balancing our own budget. Why do we now have to be sending it to London 2 months before for them to scrutinize it? And that's not the only thing, but I bring that one home to you because it's very real. There were days when to buy a fridge, an ordinary fridge, you used to have to get permission from the British government through Barbados. Willard Wheatley took us out of that, and we ain't going back there.
Responding to the statement, National Democratic Party candidates, while speaking at the rally in Boggers Bay, blamed the Virgin Islands Party's poor financial management and deficit spending for placing the BVI in what the NDP leader Dr. Orlando Smith calls a retrograde step. NDP at-large candidate Ronnie Skelton said that the BVI has reached this stage where the UK wants to take back control of the territory's finances because of the mismanagement of funds by the VIP government.
This Virgin Islands Party government, because of its recklessness, mismanagement of the funds, wasteful and deficit spending, and I believe as we speak they are still spending, has put this territory in a very dangerous position where the United Kingdom government is about to strip us of a hard fought for autonomy. Our late Chief Minister Willard Wheatley took us out of granting aid, and 34 years after, our Premier carries back in. Because they continue to spend recklessly. If you go from Annie-Ghetto to Jocelyn Dykes, they're spending monies that they don't have, that the country doesn't have. And the workers at the hospital can't be paid this pay period. Ladies and gentlemen, this can get worse. This can get worse. I saw contracts that this government signed for nearly $3 million, and they know they don't have the money to do it. The $15 million that they were relying on from the CDB is held up in London because of the mismanagement and reckless spending of this government.
This development will place the Virgin Islands in the same situation as other British overseas territories, such as the Cayman Islands, whose government, due to deficit spending, was forced to present their budget to the UK in advance of it being passed this year. Cayman Premier and Finance Minister McKeever Bush said it was not a good position to be in.
I mean, this is back in the 40s. That's where we are. It's a really bad position. Some people just don't realize it. But just think that you think you're masters of your own house. You are married, and you got your wife, you got your children. You think you can do anything. Somebody comes along and say, you can't do this. You can't do that. And that's what's happening with us, with the UK. It's not a good position. But the UK is right, that we are on an unsustainable path. We cannot spend more money than we earn, one, and we cannot hire more people than we can afford to pay.
According to figures presented by Premier Honorable Ralph O'Neill in the House of Assembly on August 30, 2011, the Virgin Islands government had spent over $148 million more than it earned over the past 3 years between 2008 to 2010. In addition, the $15 million loan, which was approved by the Caribbean Development Bank earlier this year for infrastructural rehabilitation, as of last month, was yet to be approved by the UK Foreign and Commonwealth Office. According to the UK Minister for Overseas Territories, Henry Bellingham, the UK, through its present consultation process, is looking at frameworks that will help the UK overseas territories to better manage their finances.